And next up, we've got another interview with one of the artists on the Vibe City album. I'm so pleased to finally get this guy on with us for a podcast. He's been on a big journey with us on Dirtbox recordings for a while. He had a phenomenal EP out last year, which was just some 4 dark and dirty bangers. You'll be able to find them on the back catalogue, and we'll talk about them shortly. His name is Harry Lynch, aka part of, well, was the Lynch Mob, I believe, but you'll better know him as Sigmus. Harry, how you doing, mate? You all right?
Hey Lee, yeah, how you doing? Thanks for having me on. It's great to chat with you again.
yeah. We obviously the last kind of face-to-face we had were when you come up and play for us at Raw early last year, wasn't it, in Birmingham?
Yeah, that's a cool little venue there.
yeah, Suckerton Seas, obviously a nice little jewel in Birmingham's crown. We did do some parties at some other venues that year, but a bit of a funny year, wasn't it, coming out of lockdown as well? They were still struggling to get people out, but it was a good night.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was a wicked night. So
couple of questions I want to start with, Harry, because I've always actually scratched my head about these but never got a chance to ask you about it. Why the name Sigmus? What does this mean?
So I do get asked this from time to time, and you'd think I would have thought of a good answer by now, but really it all comes down to trying to find an artist name. I had previous aliases before Sigmus.
What were they? Let us know. Come on, is any juicy ones?
Before my drum and bass days, I was quite heavily into dubstep and produced under Sicker's Aid.
That's quite a good name, actually.
I just felt like I don't know, it was more fitting for the dubstep era that I was in, and I felt like a new name was needed for as I entered into kind of drum and bass and other bits of music. So yeah, I just kind of plucked it out of thin air, really. It sadly doesn't have any meaning or any particular reason behind it, other than I thought we'll go with that.
Have you ever been mistaken for Sigma on a lineup?
Yeah, so in the early days I kind of say, oh yeah, I'm Sigmus. Oh my god, I can't believe I'm meeting you. So no, I'm not Sigma. And in hindsight it's probably a little bit close, but I think our styles of music are far enough apart, and yeah, you got so many artists these days with similar names anyway, don't you? So. It
does, and I don't think those boys are particularly woody. I mean, they're in their own atmosphere, aren't they, those two guys? And very nice guy. I don't think they're generally worried about stuff like that ever.
No.
So, absolutely. Okay, so obviously Sigmus is one, like I say, one of many of your aliases. Another one I've come familiar with is you're part of a group, or was part of a group, called the Lynch Mob. So could you tell me a little bit how that come about? Who's in the Lynch Mob? Because this sounds like a gangster rap group. You definitely don't look like you're carjacking and gangster rapping in the hood of Los Angeles at all, Harry. So tell us a bit about it.
So Lynch Mob is a project between me and one of my best mates. Kind of known him from we're 4 or 5 years old. Both got into music, and we started collaborating as Sigmus and J-Turn, which was his kind of solo name. And we worked pretty well together, decided to make it a proper project as a duo act, basically. So don't really know why he took my surname, Lynch Mob, in the name, Lynch in the Lynch Mob name.
Yeah, it works, doesn't it? Definitely.
A bit unfair on him. He doesn't get his name part of it, but it kind of felt like a name that was, had a bit of presence behind it, and but kind of was quite a cool brand. Being part of my, my surname. However, with times changing and reflecting on various things and the negative kind of connotations that my surname carries with it, and therefore that name, we rebranded from Lynch Mob to South Divide. So we've had various releases. We kind of back as Lynch Mob, we were out on Full Cycle Records, just Ronnie Sizer's label, and various other releases on there. So kind of sad to walk away from the lynch mob name.
It's the times now, though, isn't it, Harry? I mean, it's like I say, the social media world now is everybody's very, very hurt by every single word, and you just got to be very careful, haven't you, really, in that sense? So it's understandable. Obviously, there's absolutely no ill meanings with what you do. I mean, at the end of the day, there's like rap groups and stuff that were using that name, so it's a pretty cool name, isn't it? But yeah,
I think it just it was best for the future moving forward. But so South Divide is now what we're kind of going as. But got bits bubbling for that, but focusing on the solo stuff at the moment.
So how's things going with the music at the minute? Are you doing a lot of music as a duo now then, or are you still doing some Sigmus stuff?
So the great thing about it is, it kind of mixes it up. So when I'm hitting a bit of creative block solo, we kind of can push past that when working together as South Divide. So it really keeps things varied. But I always find in summer it's so difficult to stay motivated with music because the sun's shining. Other things take priority. So I kind of find my music creation comes in waves, and I think my creativity comes in waves as well. I kind of have these real dead spots where I'll open Logic and I'll try and write some stuff, but nothing comes out. Nothing meaningful comes out. So I let it happen when it happens, when I'm feeling in that vibe, really. So a lot bubbling. There's a lot of projects which I'm working on, a lot of stuff which I'm basically ready to release, but it's just kind of getting it over the finish line and waiting for those new creative moments to come as well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously talking about releases, these two tracks, obviously, which we'll come to a little bit later, we've obviously signed these at Dirtbox for quite a while with two other tunes, and one of the things is we've just been waiting for the kind of right project to almost to separate them, because these two tracks that we've signed to the album, they're very different from the other two as well. So in terms of music, we do have some forthcoming stuff on Dirtbox for you still, don't we, along with the album?
Absolutely. It's great to be getting these tunes out there as well. So
sorry about that. It's been a while, hasn't it?
Finally. Jeez.
This is the thing with labels though as well, is like you don't just want to chuck releases out. You really want to make something special with them. And it was a time, like I say, where we'd obviously got that out. We had a backlog. We wanted to get some other artists out, but then when it come time for it, it almost like those two tracks, they seemed perfect for this LP. So it just seemed like a natural thing to kind of separate it a little bit. And I think it's worked, hasn't it? I think these really do sit in the album well, definitely.
Absolutely. And it's listening through it, you've got such a wicked collection of tunes from, very talented artists on there. And it's great to be part of such a, a diverse kind of collection of tracks. It's all under a Liquid banner, but there's such a different vibe throughout that album, which just gels so well together as well. So it's wicked to be a part of it.
And you're obviously from you are from Guildford, aren't you? You're from the Guildford area? You're from Guildford. Obviously one of my partners in another label, VTO Records, Dan Traced, is from that area as well. But there's a big drum and bass hub in Guildford that not a lot of people know about, but some of the greatest names have actually come from that area as well, and if not, just lived there for a little while and things like that. Obviously Optive, and he had a record shop down there, didn't he, in the Guildford area, and of course a very notorious club for drum and bass, 30 Hertz. Phenomenal club, obviously. It is very well known for drum and bass, and I believe you put on some of your own parties there as well, don't you?
Yeah, that's right. So we started actually going back probably 8 years ago now, with the events under our Bass Science brand. And so Guildford, going back to the early 2000s, kind of before my clubbing days, for sure, but going back to the 90s and early 2000s, it had a really cool nightlife for underground music and drum and bass and whatnot. And that slowly got phased out as various clubs shut their doors, and the council seemed to, stamp it out, I think, via regulation changes or whatever it was. But Guildford lost that. There was nothing, there was no drum and bass event. There was, nothing going on for that kind of music. So me and a couple of mates, we decided we wanted to do something about that. We started the Bass Science brand and started contacting the clubs. No one would have us. No one wanted drum and bass in Guildford at the time. And so we actually started at a small pub in a little village outside of Guildford, in Bramley, and that was kind of where our origins began in the events space. Completely packed out the pub to a bunch of ravers and gave us a good case for getting accepted by clubs in Guildford. So that's kind of what eventually led us to 33 Hertz, which, yeah, as you said, is an insane venue for drum and bass. You got a wicked Function One sound system. You've got their lighting system, which is just awesome and very unique. So yeah, it's kept us busy with that for sure.
Yeah, like I said, the stories about drum and bass in Guildford are they're quite well known, as I say, for a little town. Or is it a town? It is a town, Guildford. Is it a city? Yeah, it is a town. So obviously that town is quite storied. As I say, the record shop as well down there, which I believe Dan worked at. I was actually run or managed by Optiv, as I said earlier as well. Did you ever go there?
Yeah, is it Dance 2? Is that the record? Yeah,
that's it. Very popular, well-known record shop back in the day.
I'm not a vinyl DJ, so I typically don't have, didn't go there for the vinyls, but it's an awesome place, and know a lot of the guys that run that nowadays as well. So it's wicked place to get down to if you're vinyl hunting or in the market for some equipment.
That's it. And what about the event you're running? Sorry, what was the name of the event again?
So it's called Bass Science.
Bass Science, that's it. And is it monthly or bi-monthly at the moment?
We're doing about 3 to 4 a year at the moment.
Yeah.
So yeah, kind of every 2 or 3 months or so.
Who are some of the main artists you've had come down and play there?
We've had quite a varied collection. So we get some of the old greats like Nicky Blackmarket, Mampy Swift. We've had down fairly recently. We've had Current Value, which is more on the heavier sort of side of that was just before lockdown as well, start of 2020, and that was stressful times with wondering whether he was going to get back to his own country after the flight, after the event. Molly Collins recently had kind of EJ Kitto, real kind of varied sort of 360 full spectrum drum and bass is kind of what we're after. So we'll get different vibes down different events. So
brilliant stuff. Like I say, I do see it when you're posting on social media, and it has I have seen it on some of the artist pages as well. So it does seem like it gets a little bit of traction for such a little area, and obviously a smaller cased event, because it's not a massive capacity, is it? 30 Hertz.
No, so it's only about 170 capacity, which makes for really intimate events, which the DJs, their feedback is, that was one of the best sets I've played. It's so enjoyable, that crowd interaction that you get, and you pair that with the lighting and everything, and it just makes for a really, really wicked evening.
Yeah, you fill those clubs, and there's something special, isn't there, when you're DJing those live. If you've got a full room with about 200-300 people, those kind of sets go off big time, don't they?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, big time.
So let's just go back to the music a little bit. Obviously talking about your previous release on Dirtbox, just to get people a bit more acquainted with what you do. You released with us a 4-track EP called the Primal EP, just a little bit over a year ago.
A year ago already.
I believe it was February last year. So, but those 4 tracks were a massive staple of my set. Still are. I still play Non-Existent, and I still play Power from the EP. So yeah, definitely go online and check it out on Beatport or Spotify, wherever you get your music, by Sigmus, the Primal EP. But yeah, they were very special. Are you still playing those tracks as well?
Yeah, always find an opportunity to drop them into the sets. So it's it's great to hear that they're still being played by other DJs as well. It's I was pretty proud of what I've made with those tracks. So
and they're a very contrasting to the 2 that we're going to listen to today again, aren't we? So you are like your event, you like to keep your finger in all of the different drum and bass genre pies, should I say?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so obviously that was a pretty heavy kind of neuro EP, and yeah, upcoming is 2 liquid tracks, so plus the other ones as well. So yeah, my creation is never pigeonholed. It's never kind of in one area, and always comes from the heart. So it's what I'm feeling at the time and kind of what is inspiring me at the time, really. So and that extends outside of drum and bass as well, as you know, waiting on me to finish some other tracks for other projects that we've discussed. So
well, there's plenty forthcoming at the moment, so you've got some time, Harry. You're all right. Spread on your back. But of course, I mean, we talk about obviously the style and how it contrasts it. I mean, if I was to pigeonhole these, I'd call them the duttiest of the grittiest dutty rollers, basically, aren't they? That's what they are. I know that BTK has actually played this EP a few times as well, so it kind of makes sense, because he runs a label called Dutty Audio. It would not be out of place if it were released on his label as well, I don't think. Yeah, so let's get into these 2 tracks then. Like I said, I've been sat on these for a little bit of a while, just waiting for the right moment to unleash them. Now we've got it on the Vibe City LP. You're actually one of the very few that is appearing on both albums. We got 1 track, Storm, on the first album, and Searching on the second. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a listen to both tracks today, have a chat about how they came about, and of course, if you like them, anything at all you like about the tracks, just make sure you're leaving that in the comments below. So let's start with the first track. This is Storm by Sigmus. So there we have it. Storm, forthcoming on the Vibe City LP. This is a banger, mate. Love the pianos, love those little eerie vocals in and throughout. Much different track than the rest of the album, which I'm absolutely loving the contrast that we've got. I've been talking about it with everybody when we've been interviewing them. Can you tell me a little bit about how this track came about and to be put together and obviously end up on the album as well?
Sure. So yeah, as I kind of mentioned earlier, the tracks always come from the heart, really, and what vibe I'm feeling at the time. So I think this kind of represents a bit of a kind of moody vibe that I must have been in. Don't know if moody is the right word, but yeah. So it's kind of hard to say really how these tracks come about, because when I'm kind of in these creative modes, they practically write themselves. I'll write a little piano hook or something, and that will then just take me on to kind of finish the rest of the track. So
and you're all software based as well, aren't you? You don't incorporate any hardware. Yeah, because they're very big, warm feeling tracks. I think the first time when I heard the Primal EP, I was convinced that there was some hardware in that until you told me it wasn't. So yeah, you've definitely got your sound, but it's great that this is just a completely different track. And it's almost like you said, if it's a feeling you're having, these are like the mood stone to your feelings, aren't they, really, these tracks? So kind of know what mood you're in when you're making your music, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, hopefully the listeners as well can kind of get some of that emotion transferred across to them as well as they're listening. So yeah.
Well, speaking of emotion, the next track, Searching, this is definitely one of the most emotional ones on the album. If to get a feeling from that, it's very uplifting, but it's also got that kind of edge to it as well. But let's talk about it after. Let's get it down. Let's play this one. Forthcoming on Vibe City. This is Sigmus and Searching. There we have it. Searching by Sigmus. Phenomenal track. Definitely my favourite of the two. Not that it's very easy to pick a favourite either, Harry, but again, very prominent pianos in this. Big bass line on that as well. Loving the sub. Is this just the lame answer to this? How did this come about? Again, just another emotion, or was there anything behind it that put this together?
So kind of same again, really, which is a bit boring of me to say, isn't it? But
we should have just bunched the answer together anyway, shouldn't we, for it? So
yeah,
yeah,
you know, it's just yeah, as you see, these two tracks, I think, you know, liking my breaks in them, and just allowing that to kind of carry through, I guess. So
yeah, I mean, I've never heard a track of yours with a piano so prominently in it as this one as well.
I don't know why. I love my piano. I think it's great for just conveying that emotion, and pairing that with the sub as well, and those kind of uplifting notes that made for a nice rounded piece, I thought.
Yeah, sometimes it is a bit as simple as that. Do you know what I mean? You can't always go in depth into a big story about releasing a track. I mean, like you said, something just happens and it just clicks, and suddenly there's the track, isn't it? It's right in front of you to finish.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we've got these down. We definitely have a couple of other tracks in the pipeline on Dirtbox, which we should have obviously scheduled very soon. We've remixed a couple from the Primal EP, so that's an exclusive for you here. That's obviously had the remix treatment, and I believe you're going to be on with a remix at some point for us as well, aren't you?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, always eager to find more excuses to get my teeth stuck into a project. So yeah.
Look forward to that. Looking forward to it. And of course, any other music, any events coming up, anything you want to mention that's going to be happening towards the end of 2023?
So yeah, keep an eye out if you're in the Guildford area for more bass science events. We'll be having a little summer break, but coming back in autumn. I haven't got a date yet for that, but yeah, always a good vibe there. Personal music, I've got a number of projects which I'm kind of nearing completion, both in kind of drum and bass and other genres as well. So I'll be hopefully finding homes for those. Well, hopefully with obviously some of them will be forthcoming, Dirtbox or whatnot. So yeah, it's a little bit quiet in terms of what's concrete planned at the moment outside of Dirtbox, but yeah, watch this space as lots will be happening.
Yeah, I mean, I know you've sent me a few whips and stuff like that. Some serious music ready to be launched there, isn't it? Once you get to the finish line, definitely.
Absolutely, yeah.
So we'll end on that, Harry. Obviously, one last question I have been asking everybody. You know, this is a huge project for us at the Dirtbox, the biggest one we've ever done. What does it mean to you to be on a project like this, and what are your thoughts of how it's looking and how it's going to do?
Yeah, I feel honoured, man, to be honest, to be, listening through to the album and hearing the kind of weight behind some of these tunes, and to be part of, such a big project like this. Yeah, it's awesome. It's really awesome. And yeah, I think, the people are going to love it. There's something for everyone on there. You've got some of the kind of more heavy, heavier liquid kind of vibes, and then you've got the lighter stuff as well, and everything in between. So it's a real eclectic mix of tunes, I think, which I'm proud to have my tunes sitting as part of.
Oh, no doubt, mate. And of course, I mean, if I'm brutally honest with you on this as well, your two tracks were definitely the mechanism that sparked the thought process to actually put this together, because I'd not actually signed any liquid tunes. I'd made a liquid tune that actually come out. I signed your two liquid tunes, and then I got one other person approached me with a liquid tune, and then obviously at that set you've got 4 or 5 liquid tunes ready to go. So it kind of sparked that idea. So it was one of the catalysts for that, definitely. So I can't thank you enough, because obviously it's been a lot of fun putting this project together, and of course getting all this wonderful music from people around the world as well. Can't fault it.
Awesome. Yeah, no, absolutely. And well, I'm glad I've was the inspirational spark for it. So
it was. Keep it up, mate. Keep it up. Look, thank you very much for your time today, Harry. Really appreciate it. We have got lots to go through on this podcast, on this episode. So we'll say goodbye to Harry now and thank you for the tracks. Of course, leave your comments below what you think of both Trapstorm and Searching. Catch you later, Harry. Thanks, mate.
Thanks for having me on. Cheers.
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 What's up, everyone? Lee UHF here, the host of DNB Wraps. Thank you for watching our videos. If you like what you're hearing and seeing on the channel, please make sure you're subscribing to it. Please make sure you thumbs up the videos, and more importantly, let's get some comments going as well. It really helps the channel, and in order for us to provide this content to you, we do need the channel to grow. So we can't do this without your help. Hope you enjoy the video. Speak to you soon.